Hey everybody, it is Blonde Blitz time. Let's go.
He's had, but I still like the Commanders.
I'm also tough.
Jamar Chase. I'm looking at that Cincinnati team against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, as soon as I saw the rain last night, I was wondering if that might be a little bit of a factor as well.
How we play that week is really going to be more impacted.
With the Raiders, who got Jacoby Myers back.
The same thing with Joe Burrow. You just expect Joe Burrow to do it because he's been to a Super Bowl.
It's time to send in the Blitz with Deb Whitkiss and the Blonde Blitz.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blonde Blitz. I'm your host, Deb Whitkiss. Happy Halloween. Week 8 is over, and here we are moving on to week 9. Guys, the regular season is almost halfway over. How crazy is that? We have got a spooky show for you today. My special guest is my good friend and former wide receiver for the Raiders, AC Caswell. He'll help me with hot takes from week number 8, and then we'll learn all about his time with the Raiders. And he's got an event coming up called the $1 Million Mingle. We'll talk all about it. It's happening next week in Phoenix. Todd Marcel-Durham is here. He's here with his week 8 funny. Can't wait for that. HGTV designer to the athletes, Shay Holland, talks calming spaces in a turbulent NFL time. Lots of fights going on, guys. Lots of injuries out there. She'll bring us to our zen. Sports betting expert Alex White is here for your best bet for week 9, along with fantasy expert ballers Meg. Intuitive reader 333 Ask Carrie looks at her power deck this Halloween for the Falcons versus Patriots game. And finally, last but not least, Ben Troop, former tight end for the Bucs and the Titans, is here to help me with week 9 game picks. All right, guys, let's get it started. Here's headlines.
Now to Deb Whitkiss with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
Week 8 delivered statement wins, milestones, and record-breaking moments across the league. The Colts rolled to a 7-1, their best start since 2009, while Denver and New England extended their win streaks to 5 games apiece. The Broncos defense continued its dominance with 35 sacks and just 10 allowed. The first team in NFL history to hit those marks through 8 games. The Jets pulled off the weekend's biggest comeback, erasing a 15-point fourth quarter deficit to end a 135 game losing streak by teams in that same situation. Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones powered another big Colts win, while Jalen Hurts of the Eagles threw 4 touchdowns in a 38-20 victory over the Giants. In Buffalo, Josh Allen added to his league record with his 46th career game, featuring both a passing and a rushing touchdown. Elsewhere, Myles Garrett set a Browns record with 5 sacks. Derrick Henry moved into 5th all-time in rushing touchdowns, and Alvin Kamara became just the 5th running back ever with 600 career receptions. Moving on to Players of the Week, we start with NFC Players of the Week on the offense. Jordan Love of the Packers, 29 of 37 passes, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns in the 35-25 Sunday Night Football win. The first QB ever with 20 straight completions, 350-plus yards, and no sacks in a game. On the defense, Anthony Nelson of the Buccaneers, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and a 38-yard pick six in a 23-3 win. The first player with that stat line since 2007. In special teams, Chase McLaughlin of the Buccaneers nailed 3 50-plus yard field goals in one half, 52, 54, and 55. This was an NFC first. AFC Players of the Week on the offense, we've got James Cook of the Bills, 216 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on just 19 carries in a 49 win over Carolina. On the defense, Jordan Brooks of the Dolphins, 10 tackles, 3 TFL, and a sack in a 34-10 win, now the league leader in total tackles. On special teams, Isaiah Williams of the Jets, 132 kickoff yards and a key 21-yard punt return to set up the game-winning teams, Isaiah Williams of the Jets, 132 kickoff yards, and a key 21-yard punt return to set up the game-winning drive. All right, folks, that is your Week 8 headlines. Defense is surging, stars breaking records, and a playoff contentions. They're separating from the pack right now. All right, guys. Next, we have my special guest, a good friend who has helped me so much in my sports reporting career. I'm so thankful for him. He's also a former wide receiver for the Raiders. He is doing hot takes with me first, and then we'll talk all about his time with the Raiders later in the show. Ladies and gentlemen, the original Cheetah, Mr. AC Caswell.
Next caller is Deb Whitkiss, who says she has some really hot takes.
Hello, AC. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, guys. I just want to say thank you, Deb, once again for having an amazing show. So much to talk about, and I'm ready to dive into it with you. So let's go.
Let's do it. First of all, happy Halloween. It's one of my favorite holiday, if you can't tell. Well, let's start off hot takes with the Giants-Eagles games. A lot to kind of process here that happened. Cam Scotabo, obviously a horrific ankle injury. We had surgery in Philly right after the game. Much prayers to him, as well as the rest of the team. AC, what is it like on the field when a player goes down like that with a serious injury?
For sure. First of all, definitely prayers going out to Scatterboo. We love him from out of Arizona, so we definitely praying for him. And I think when that happens, we all unfortunately have experienced that. I think it's not about it's not about competitive. It's about we come together as a unity. Right. All teams come together. We're praying. We don't want to see anyone injured like that at all. So I think all prayers are going up. We're all feeling for each other. We're lifting each other up. And I think you see the unity that really comes together during that time. And that's what I love about this game. We are a brotherhood.
Right, absolutely. And Dom, who's head of security, came and brought cheesesteaks and pretzels, and I don't even know what he brought. And then also Zach Bond, actually, who I don't want to say caused the injury, but we'll talk about that next. But he was there, and he went to the hospital to visit him as well. So you have opposite Eagles, Giants there, and it didn't matter, because when someone gets hurt, there's definitely a brotherhood of the NFL, and just in general, just people, So, well. Going to Bond, some are saying he did an illegal hip drop tackle, and that's why Scatabo got hurt. What were your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I look at it like this. I'm from the old school. Football is football. It's a brutal sport. It's a violent sport. Sometimes you can get injured without anybody touching you, right? I mean, it's just a brutal game that you play. Different field conditions, right? From turf versus grass to different cleats, different movements and stuff that we make can really cause serious injury. So, I don't buy into that. Things happen, unfortunately, and I don't think you can put the blame. It wasn't nothing dirty. I mean, it's just things happen in this game, and I think you have to try to, let it go and move on, and you can't let it just mentally, psych you out and take you over. So it's just a tough injury,
Yeah. It's a tough sport, tough league. I also think the refs, if it was an illegal move, the refs would have penalized him, would have kicked him out of the game, or fined him. And nothing of that sort's come out of that yet. I don't see that happening. I don't think he did it on purpose. And like I said, prayers out to Cam as well. And with that game too, like I said, lot to process in this game. There's a lot of speculation surrounding wide receiver A.J. Brown. Being a wide receiver yourself, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. He is out with an injury, which some people are saying that he's not really hurt. That's just the way of the Eagles taking him out. I don't think that's true at all. But let's face it, the Eagles played better without him not in the offense. Do you think he is the problem?
And obviously I'm a diva like him. Wide receivers, we're all divas. We all want the ball. We all want to pad our stats.
You're but, also both very talented too.
Oh, that's for real. Here's the thing that I would say. People have to realize that the NFL is a business. Each team is a business. And you're going to say, hey, do we sacrifice the business for one person, or do we keep rolling and winning? with the continuity that we have and the unity that we have. You remember, I always tell people this: you're never bigger than the game, and you're never bigger than the brand. Okay.
Yep.
And I don't care how much of a diva you are, how much of a superstar can't win a game by himself. Okay. So unfortunately, if they're losing and losing and losing, they're going to look and say, let's reevaluate this. But unfortunately, you got to get with the program. Point blank. And I think the Eagles are doing a great job as a team. They're representing a team, and they're winning as a team. And if you see some conflict taking place in the locker room being divided, and it's all about me, 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 if I'm an owner, I got to keep moving on, and that's business.
Do you think he'll be traded or?
Once again, I think if they stay on a winning streak and show that, hey, we can consistently win without, quote unquote, our star player, if that's what you want to say, I think he's up for trade. And there's some other teams in the same situation. You got to look at it that way. Right now, they're go lose 4 or 5 games straight. They're like, okay, wait a minute, we need to hold off. But when you're winning and things are clicking and the vibe is right, guys are going to move. They're going to push with you, and you got to go. So I think he'll be up for trade.
Okay. All right. I hope he's not, because he's one of my favorite wide receivers in the league. Obviously, I'm a huge Eagles fan, and even on my social media today, I was in an AJ Brown jersey. So I'm hoping he stays. I'm hoping they can all figure it out, and I think they can. I've interviewed him a couple times, and he's always great. And I hate to see him leave the organization, but I also understand if he's not happy, it's just not going to work, and he's not going to play well. So well, moving on to the Vikings-Chargers game, Carson Wentz is having season-ending I can't speak. It's Halloween. I can't speak. Season-ending shoulder surgery. He was obviously hurting in that last game, right? Was it right for the Vikings organization to make him play?
It's a lot of that going on in the league where we truly know that players should be protected by the league. They should be protected by the medical doctors and all those things, whether you're concussed or whether you dislocated your shoulder or knee or whatever, especially at his age. I think that you're sitting down and you just let him, you let him sit down and you bring in the next man up, right? So I don't think he should have played, me personally.
I agree with you too. I was actually shocked when I heard that he was having shoulder surgery, because like he just shouldn't have been out there. He should have been playing. The problem is they have JJ McCarthy and Carson Wentz and another third string quarterback. They did just bring in John Wolford, but he's only played 7 games in the NFL. Like he's a third string too, but I don't think they should have ever gotten rid of Sam Darnold personally. I think that was a huge mistake on their part, because he's killing it with the Seahawks right now. But it is what it is, and you make those decisions. Well, let's move on to the Green Bay Steelers game. Jordan Love, you're laughing. Jordan Love was under Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. He just defeated Rodgers 35-25. What is that like when the student kind of becomes the teacher in the NFL?
You know what, man? First of all, I love the respect that they have for each other, number one.
Yeah, I love that too.
And it shows true leadership on behalf of Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Jordan Love gave him honor. Like, hey, man, I'm doing this because of the tutelage that I've been under, and but also competitively, I'm here to take you out. And I just think I love to see that. I love to see the healthy part of that, right? The healthy part of that rival. And I'm, even after game, you see the love, the respect. And I'm not going to say it's passing on the torch, because I still believe in Aaron Rodgers. He's very talented. And so I don't think it's passing of the torch, but I think it's just giving honor, and I think Jordan Love deserves that. He played his butt off.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are saying, this might be Aaron's last year in the league. I still think he has some years in him. What do you think?
100%. It kind of goes back to what you said about Sam Darnold. And you know this about the NFL. Every system is different. Every program is different. Every formation is different. So, certain guys end up in certain teams that don't do so well because either they're not a good fit with the coordinator, the offensive coordinator, or the position coach. It's not playing into their favor. So I think that if Aaron Rodgers say, hey, maybe this is my last year with the Steelers, but I still have one more round, I think it'll be a team who will be willing to accommodate their system around him and to play to his strengths and let him have another year. You know, I truly believe that. So I don't think he's overworked for sure.
Right. I mean, I would love to see him back with the Steelers. Maybe the Vikings need a quarterback. I mean, you never know.
I'm gonna be very patient because you know what I'm waiting on. So you know, I'm not gonna let me go down that road about the silver and black. We'll wait to get there soon.
Right.
So,
Well, let's actually get to the silver and black right now. Let's talk about our Raiders here. First of all, I wanted to extend my condolences. The First Lady of Raider Nation, Carol Davis, passed away at 93 years old last Friday. I wanted to honor her, on today's Blonde Blitz. So, I'm assuming you have met Carol.
100%. You know, once again, Raider Nation, the First Lady of Raider Nation, what her and her husband Al Davis did for me in my life is I can't even explain it. You know, because at the end of the day, Al might have did his business, but he has somebody to come home to, and that lady has been the rock and the brick to everything. So you know, she's going to be truly missed. And I can only, say thank you for what the time they put in with me as a young rookie, giving me an opportunity to be a part of their organization. So she's going to be truly missed.
And talk to me a little bit about, what Al Davis did for you. We've talked about it before, but if our audience wasn't, in watching that particular show. So tell me just a little bit about how you got to the Raiders and what Al Davis meant to you.
You know, man, the Davis family meant so much to me. You know, as I share with you and all your listeners, I was a young man who grew up in South Central LA, had a very hard lifestyle. I didn't have a father in my life, I wasn't projected to make it, but I loved sports, and I was a speedster. I was a little cheetah, right? And I remember going through my student athlete as a high school student, as a college student. I came right out of junior college. Okay, I didn't even get drafted. Oh, there you go. So as I took my journey to junior college, Mr. Davis had his eye on me all the way through junior college.
All right, guys, we're having some technical difficulties there with AC. Let's actually toss to Alex White. We'll get into the games right now. So let's get into the games. So week number 9, go ahead, Alex.
It's time to get some NFL betting advice from Alex White and the Blonde Blitz. Win big so I can rob you later.
Happy Halloween week, everybody. I can't believe it. Week 9 already. Let's try and find a winner for this week. I'm sure by now most of you know I like underdogs. I like getting the value with the points. 2 weeks ago, I said take the points with the Bengals, and they ended up beating the Steelers outright. Well, and now the Steelers have lost 2 in a row, and this is a team I want to fade again. I just don't trust Mike Tomlin's defense right now. 30th in the league in yards allowed per game. They're 22nd in points allowed. They have a tough task. They're going up against the number 1 offense. The Colts right now, number 1 in points per game. They're number 1 in yards per game. Number 1 in yards per play. Shane Steichen, he is the favorite to win Coach of the Year. And for good reason. What he has done with Daniel Jones and company is very impressive. I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to stop them. They're only a 3-point favorite, so -3 for the Colts this weekend. I made it 5. I usually like 2.5-point difference. I think this is enough though, because the Colts offensively, I don't think the Steelers can stop them. Tomlin's not making changes on the defensive side. He already said it. Play calling is not changing. Aaron Rodgers, he's done good, but I mean, looking at their PFF ratings too, Aaron Rodgers has a 68 right now. That is 22nd. Daniel Jones is 10 right now at an 80.4. Give me the Colts -3 at Pittsburgh this week. Good luck, everybody. Have a great week. Deb, hope to see you soon.
Here's Johnny.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. That was funny. Of course, we cannot talk sports betting without talking fantasy. Here's fantasy expert Ballers Meg with her advice for week number 9.
When I'm looking for fantasy advice, I listen to Meg from TSS Fantasy.
Hi guys, Ballers Meg coming at you this week with the fantasy football section of the Blonde Blitz, and I'm going to give you some recommendations for how to best improve your fantasy football sides ahead of week 9. So first up, Daniel Jones, QB1 at the Indianapolis Colts. He is doing phenomenal things. On average, putting on 22 points for Fantasy Weekly. He is up against a Steelers side that, let's be honest, hasn't been great at stopping those points, and I'm really excited to see what he can do this week. Next up, we have Bam Knight over at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, they're facing the Cowboys this week, so not as easy a game as what we might have thought initially. However, they are coming off of a bye week. They are without Michael Carter, and Bam Knight is one of the only credible targets that is consistently targeted. So I would be saying, look at Bam Knight. He was still available in a lot of the leagues across different platforms, but ESPN, he was available at over 80% of the leagues. But for daily fantasy, definitely have a look at him. He will get you some good points. Finally, we've got DK Metcalf. He has proven that he is Aaron Rodgers' #1 target lately, and he is up against that Colts side. They're going to have to do a lot of work, and I would say that definitely DK Metcalf is one that is going to get you all the points. So have a look, see who's available. Definitely have a look at those 3 players this week and let me know how you get on. I will see you next week for some more fantasy football, but in the meantime, you can check me out on ballers_meg on all platforms, or you can check out TSS Fantasy on Friday evening and Sunday morning, your time, Sunday afternoon, UK time, for all things fantasy football, hints, tips and tricks. See you next week.
All right, guys, we're going to go back to week number 8. I told you guys this is going to be a spooky, spooky show, and here we are. Lots of stuff happened in week 8. Here's Todd Marcel Durham's funny take on the season thus far. Todd, come on in here.
Okay, I got one for you. What did the wide receiver say to the football? Catch you later. Yeah, my jokes suck. That's why I watch the Blonde Blitz.
Todd, hello.
Pew, 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 pew. How do I look?
You look amazing. What exactly are you?
I am Don Pepin Shula, the best coach in NFL history.
Amazing.
Yeah. Only undefeated coach in NFL history. Listen, we need to talk about one person and one person only to start this segment. And do you know who that is?
Who is that, Todd?
It's Colt's mommy. We need to talk about Colt's mommy.
Who's Colt's mommy?
Colt's
mommy?
Colt's mommy, the lady who's driving the ship in Indianapolis. She's on the sidelines. She's keeping people in check with just an eye. Like,
you mean the owner of the Colts?
Correct.
Yes.
The one and only Colt's mommy. Okay. Here's the deal. If anyone doesn't understand the basic physics, the basic interaction of the male brain, they know we're motivated by women, okay? We want their approval, and we do not want them to not like us. So what do? You put them on the sidelines and have them staring down your players, and they're just going to perform better, and that's how it works. I mean, I'm not wrong about that. Here's what I can tell you. If a strength and conditioning coach wants to put their players in best position to gain muscle, strength, power, speed, put the female volleyball team in there at the same time they're working out. It's that simple. Colt's mommy is doing that for Indianapolis. She wins. I don't even care if it's a fake. She's probably not even listening to anything. If I was her, I'd be catching up on a nice audio book, an NPR podcast, if I was her. but her presence alone is making these guys play well. It's not Danny Dimes. It's not their running back. It's Colts mommy, okay? That's number one. Number two, AFC North is a poverty division these days, and I don't like it, okay? I don't like that. I don't like my United States of American AFC North not having one team with 4 wins. That's not, it shouldn't be. Look, the AFC North is football. It is this country. It is what pigskins are made of. They should get government subsidy wins if they're not above 500, any one of the teams. That's how it should work. Government shutdown, fine. Keep the government open and just give them wins. That's how life should be. Conversely, the NFC West, all of these guys have 5 wins. There's like 7 teams now in the AFC West alone that have like 8 wins each, which should not happen.
Love's looking at the breakdowns today, actually.
It doesn't make any sense. You should tax wins from the NFC West to give them to the AFC North, because the fan base in the NFC West, they drink lattes on their way to a football game. That's not how football is supposed to be played. It's an imbalance. It's not how the Constitution was written, and I'm right about that. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the celebration culture in the NFL has gone completely haywire, and I believe that we need to have a proper penalty. Look, there's no tally if a wide receiver loses a pick and it cost the quarterback, but it was his fault. At least you should be suspended from first down or end zone celebrations if that happens for 2 games. That's my recommendation.
But I love those celebrations. Like, that's my favorite part of the game, Todd. I'm a dancer.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. I disagree. Okay? I disagree.
All right.
Lastly, calling the FBI on players. We get to do that now. Did you know that? That's incredible.
Wait, what?
Oh,
yeah. There's been a lot of fights and a lot of injuries and stuff.
Oh, no.
If you look, FBI involved now?
Yeah, if you look on Twitter, I saw one play that was so bad where the guy he quote tweeted it, and he tagged the FBI and said, look into this player, because all the stuff that went on with the the NBA and their gambling things, and now people are just like tagging the FBI in quote tweets, and I just think that's fantastic, because if a player dogs it bad enough, I'm just going to go straight to Cash Patel. I'm going right to the top.
Going right to the FBI. I mean, we're getting a little out of hand now. I feel like there's been spitting, there's been fights, there's been refs trying to, be on the sideline, on the bench, like protecting players. It's gotten a little out of hand.
And it's going to get way more ahead, because I'm going to Washington, D.C. If I watch a player miss a tackle bad enough, I'm going to assume they're in on the gambling, and I'm calling the FBI, and no one can stop me because I brought weapons of tiny destruction.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Happy Halloween. Where can our audience find you?
At Todd Marcel Durham on all channels, and my website, Todd Marcel Durham.
All right, we will see you soon.
Hasta luego, as they say.
All right, guys, we're going to try to get back with AC. AC, are you there?
I'm still waiting for my invite as a special guest on the Blonde Blitz.
Okay,
my
can you hear me?
agent is waiting for your call, Deb.
All right, I'm on. Can you hear me? I can hear.
There he is. All
okay,
right,
what about now? Can you hear me?
Had a little bit of a technical
that guy,
problem.
Hey, that guy is so.
He's funny.
That guy
right?
is hilarious.
Yeah, he's a good friend
my
as well.
goodness.
He's a good guy. we love him here at the Blonde Blitz. So, AC, we were talking about your relationship with Al Davis and how much he helped you in your career.
Yeah, and I'll kind of briefly speed through it. He was an integral part of my life. I wouldn't have made it to the NFL. I wouldn't even be the man that I am today because I didn't have a father in my life. And when he embraced me, from coming from junior college right into the NFL, it's unheard of. So when I got there, he just invested so much time in me on and off the field. But he also talked to me about why I am a Raider. And he said, do you know what it means to be a Raider? He told me all about his lifestyle. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And, he just gave me the real vision about why he wanted me to be a Raider, because he believed in me. He saw something in me, and his wife that I did not see, and giving me that opportunity, my job to live up to the potential he saw off the field. know, it goes into the business world. He was teaching me how to become an entrepreneur, you know, investing time in with me about becoming a brand and separating myself to be great and to be number one. So, you know, and where he went, his wife was there. You know, I remember when we traveled to different cities and different teams, and Al has on his white sweatsuit, his wife got on a black one, and black limousine, white limousine. They always were together as unity. And I'm so blessed and thankful to be a part of that.
And we'll definitely get into you being an entrepreneur and building that brand in a little bit. But tell me about what was so special about the Raiders when you played, and what's special about the team now?
You know what you know what I learned about the Raiders, and once again, I think it's a great reflection of Al Davis to say, hey, I committed this brand, just win, baby, commitment to excellence, and all these amazing things that he instilled in us about what it means not only to be a professional athlete, but to be a Raider. I'm so blessed to be a part of an organization that represents professionalism, competition, you know, innovation. Always had the fastest team in NFL, Heisman Trophy winners, Pro Bowlers. I mean, it was like a show on wheels, right? And it just gave you so much motivation to say, man, what other organizations out there for me other than the Raiders? So I was so spoiled by being around the Raiders. I learned professionalism. I learned team. I learned camaraderie. I just learned greatness being a part of the Raiders. And then I wonder why, when even when we were getting our butts kicked on the field, we had other players from different teams that said, man, I'm in my contract year. I want to be a Raider. I'm like, man, we're not even winning. They said, it doesn't matter. I want that mystique of being a Raider. So that's once a Raider, always a Raider to this day. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I know you keep in touch with Mark Davis, and you've attended many alumni events. Tell the audience a little bit about what the Raiders have done for you as an alumni.
Oh, you know what, Deb, and I tell you this, you can ask any former player who ever played for the Raiders, one down, one day, 1 second, 1 year, it doesn't matter. Once a Raider, always a Raider, and I'm going to brag on this because when you retire, that transition is hard. Mentally, physically, emotionally, the same friends are not around, the same crowd is not around, and you miss that. And what the Raiders have built in their culture, it's like no other professional team in the world of any sports. He built alumni system like no other in the world, where we all come together twice a year. We fellowship, we hang out. This man spends millions of dollars on former players to have the best of the best. To the games, merchandise, entertainment, health and wellness, where we all come together. And I tell you what, man, to see what they do for the players after the game is like no other organization in the world. It's unbelievable.
And I've been to Allegiant a few times for regular games and for the Super Bowl, and they actually have NFL alumni, former players, in with their name with bricks all around Allegiant. And there's no other stadium that does that. I haven't seen that. I've been to almost every single stadium in the U.S., and Allegiant's the only one that does it.
And let me say this, guys. You know, for all the listeners, Al Davis was an innovator. He was a mover and shaker. He was a visionary. And Mark, thank God, took on that responsibility to keep his brand alive. And I tell you what, Al talked about Vegas years ago, a long time ago. He said, if anybody can make it in Vegas, we're the Raiders, we can make it. And he meant that. But not only just to be there as a team, as an organization, he brought us along. He brought the players from LA, from Oakland, and gave us bricks. We all have our legendary bricks right in front of the stadium, where now every game day we're meeting fans and taking pictures and interacting. I mean, they built the stadium so much like Al Davis. It's ridiculous. You can feel it, you can see it, you can hear it. And for us to have a piece of that, it's like it's you can't even explain it. It's unbelievable.
It's a gorgeous stadium too. It looks a little bit like a spaceship, but or a Roomba.
That is true. And the funny part about it is this too, Dad. Let me say this. I'm probably going to lose you. My battery is dying, but let me say this. The fun about this is that nobody didn't realize that Mr. Davis and Mark look just like his house looked just like the stadium. It's unbelievable.
Oh wow. Okay. What is the similarities?
So same type of color, either a black mansion or white mansion. It looks just like the stadium. So if you guys ever go Google Mark Davis's mansion, it looks just like how he built the stadium. It's crazy, but that's for real.
And before I lose you, let's talk a little bit about the $1 Million Mingle coming up next weekend in Phoenix, Arizona. Tell me a little bit about it and how people can get tickets for it.
Yeah, thank you for that plug. $1 Million Mingle. First of all, anybody can go to our website, mdmexperience.com, and they can literally, I'm gonna plug up while I'm talking to you so I don't lose you. Make sure I got this. Yep, I got a little bit of power. So they can go to mdmexperience.com. A great event we started in 2006. We bring in billionaires and millionaires, professional celebrity athletes from all over the world, and we raise millions of dollars for local charities. And Deb, you've been here before. It's red carpet, it's Hollywood, it's polo. If you never experienced a polo tournament, it's VIP parties, celebrity brunch and comedy show, our celebrity charity golf tournament that kicks off Thursday, November the 6th. And we literally bring in people from all over the world, guys, and we have such a great time networking, connecting, raising money. I mean, we're excited. Here we go again, another year.
Absolutely. And I'm so bummed I'm not able to make it. Next year, I will be there. Tell me a little bit about the charities that you are raising money for this year.
Yeah, thank you for that. You know, when we started this brand, $1 Million Mingle, the name was to never raise anything less than $1 million for charities. And we raise money for all kind of charities, minority charities, underprivileged charities. We have 6 amazing charities that we're raising money for this year. Rise and Dream Foundation, Real Father, Arizona Smashers, which are a baseball program for underprivileged kids. And we have But You Don't Look Sick Foundation. I mean, a lot of no names that you're like, I never heard of those charities. That's what we love about it, because there's so many charities that are doing great work that no one knows about these guys. And when we pick them up as a recipient, the world knows about them. Now they can donate directly to them. They can learn their cause. And that's where we're honored to say we have a high profile event that are raising money for some awesome, awesome charities.
And where can our audience find these tickets? Can they go online?
Well, you know, here's the good thing about it. We're literally sold out of everything, sponsorship, but we have a few tickets left. And once again, we have hotel accommodations because this is a global, national, local event. But if people go to mdmexperience.com, we still have some tickets available. I think a few tables left at certain events that they can pick and choose. But we will last, you know, every dollar counts, right? And you know, and people say, well, how do you mix your billionaires and millionaires with regular people? We do, because we all have a heart of giving and serving. And so we make it available for everyone to come out here and to experience this. But you know, we have over 100 speakers from all over the world that's going to be speaking on our stage on Friday for our business network and symposium. I mean, big names and just newcomers, right? So we want everybody to have an opportunity to present their company, their brand, and how we can be supportive.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait. I wish you the best of luck in the event. I'm bummed I'm not going to be there, but we will definitely see you next year. And thank you. Thanks for coming on the show, AC. Always a great time.
No, thank you. And let me say this before we do end, you know, thank you so much, Deb, for providing a platform for us athletes. As we always say, it's hard when we don't have a vehicle to express ourselves. And you've done such an amazing job with your team to letting us come on and just talk about our life, our sports, our charities, because, you know, we need that. We miss the camaraderie of having these opportunities. So thank you so much. You know, I always say, any way we can support you, we love you and all that you do.
Thank you.
And, you know, go Raiders. Okay, go Raiders. Okay, I'm still not done converting you over to the silver and black, so go Raiders.
We'll get there eventually. I don't know. I bleed green pretty hard, but we'll see in the future. I'll be in Vegas at some point this season, so I might see you there. All right, thanks, Stacey. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. All right.
All right, bye-bye. All right, guys, next we have Shay Holland, HGTV designer to the athletes, here to talk calming strategies for home design. In light of all the fights and the injuries in the league, I feel like we need it. Everyone is just stressed out. Here's Shay with the calm.
When I need the latest in style and entertainment, I tune into the Blonde Blitz.
Hello, Shay.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, we're had some technical difficulties. We're getting past them. We're going on with the show. The first thing I saw you went to the World Series last night. Game 4.
Yeah, no fights broke out there, despite what has been going on in this crazy World Series. What was 18 innings on Monday night? Tuesday night was a loss for the Dodgers, but it was still an amazing game. I've been to a lot of games, and this was one of my favorites just because I think because it's been so long since the Blue Jays won a World Series, people were actually not mad at the underdog. And so the vibe in the stadium was just amazing, just so much fun. I even had a plant-based hot dog. I'm like, let's live on the edge. Let's see how the real LA people live. They don't. It was just, it was sad to see. It was incredible. Shohei did, they were tired. You could tell, I mean, they'd been up, I think they said since 2:00 in the morning yesterday because of how long the game went the night before. And then they did pull Shohei, I think, in the top of the 7th. That was his major league pitching debut was last night. And it unfortunately did not go so well. But like I said, the fans were just right there with the teams. It was really, it was just a great experience. We were guests of a company called Booking.com and Allison Worldwide Sports. And it was just a privilege to be there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I mean, it seemed like the energy was really hot. Your pictures seemed really, really fun. Like you guys had a blast, even though the Dodgers lost. But yeah, the good thing was there was no fights, right?
No fights, and I have been there when there have been, but this
Yes,
was
so
like
have I.
a whole different vibe. Even though, yes. I mean, it like a lot of games, stress is high, the tension is high, the competition level is high, but this did not look anything like the NFL has looked this season.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. The NFL has started paying a lot more attention to player wellness and mental health in recent years. But what kinds of things is the NFL doing to help players deal with the pressures on the field? Because there has been so many fights.
Well, like you said, I think the NFL has definitely made it clear that they're paying much more attention to mental health. And that's so needed in light of just how the vitriol that these players get on social media and in some of the betting rooms and stuff that we don't really see or necessarily hear about. Some of the players are having to just shut down their social media because of the death threats against their family even. And it's like, this is a game, people, at the end of the day. To send death threats to a player and their family is absolutely insane. So the stress in this age is coupled with all of that exposure that maybe players in the past didn't have. And so that's part of what the focus has been. And I think, some players go ahead, shut down that social media if that's what you need to do. We had talked about this before, Deb, that the teams, when they're on the road, they take them to a hotel and there's a curfew. And that this stress level and the way that the tension can just get out of control is the exact
they have security there. Their players have to be in their rooms. They can't have guests. They can't have wives. They can't have family. It's just them. They can decompress every single game before the game, 10 p.m. Well, when you're designing for athletes or honestly anyone in high stress jobs or situations, how does creating a calming atmosphere score high on their vision board?
It scores very high for many athletes and people who are in positions of influence. The home is the sanctuary. That is the place where at the end of the day, they can go and nobody's bothering them for autographs. Nobody's bothering them for photos. It is the one place that needs to feel calm before they go back out into the jungle. And so that's one of the big things that we definitely focus on. There's some things that require, maybe some behavioral changes that I can't necessarily focus on, like turning off your screen time before, at least an hour before bedtime if you can, those kinds of things. There's some that are behavioral, but a lot of it really is down to how you design. That's why when we walk into a spa, you instantly relax. That's obviously by intention. And that's kind of the feeling I try to bring to a home, whether there's kids or not in the space. It needs to feel like a place that you can leave all your baggage when you walk in the door, at least as far as how it feels and the atmosphere in the home. And so that is something that we definitely focus on.
And what colors do you use? Are there calming colors?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things that you can do. Color is a huge part of it. There's a whole section of design called color psychology or theory of color. I can't quite remember it. But it's been proven scientifically that colors have an impact on our emotional state. And so that's why you see reds and yellows and oranges, for example, in fast food restaurants. They want you in there fast. They want to stimulate your appetite. They want that metabolism all revved up. So if you're using those colors in your home and you're expecting it to be relaxing, your inside knows that those are not relaxing colors. You want to stick with kind of the neutrals like I've got going on in here, or maybe some of the blues and greens, some of those earth tones, anything that has to do with earth. That's why we love going to the beach, bringing in some of those kinds of colors. So color is a huge part of it, but there's also a lot of other things that we pay attention to as well.
And what are some of those?
Lighting is a big one. Lighting is huge. And that's why, even during the day, right now, as the sun is going down quicker, people are saying, I get seasonal affective disorder or depression. And so you want to balance that at night without harsh lights, but with like a nice warm toned yellow, like I've got going on in here, that doesn't give you this, again, that high energy feel. So lighting is a huge thing that we pay attention to. You want layers of lighting. You don't just want these glaring overhead lights. You want your ambient lighting. You want your lamps, that kind of thing, so that you can moderate your light as the day goes on. And then as it gets closer and closer, a lot of this does have to do with, how you sleep. That affects your stress level huge. So I also pay a lot of attention to anything that you sit on or lay down on, I've always said. And a lot of times your mattress might just be the problem, that you're not sleeping well on the type of mattress that you have for you, or it's an old one and you haven't turned it or something like that. So there's a lot of things that people in their own home can do that really don't cost any money or very little money to get a calming environment at home. I just feel like in this day and age, it's so critical to have that space at home that is the place where you can retreat, because the tension when you're outside of your home has just mounted, like we've seen on the field with these crazy fights. And I know that the teams are working on this, because that's the last thing they want to do, especially the one that happened post game. You don't want players getting hurt after the game. That's insane.
Yeah. It was Brian Branch and Juju Smith-Schuster on that game. And Branch did get suspended for that one game. He's back now. And then Carter spitting on Prescott in the season opener.
And that was before the game, I think.
Before the game.
There
wasn't
this isn't even on the field, right?
And then the refs are getting involved. Nate Jones was protecting Jackson Smith and Jigba the other day. Jackson was on the bench, and the ref was over him, trying to protect him. So yeah, it's been a crazy season thus far. We're halfway through the season. Just one more question, Shay. I know I personally love plants, and they calm me. Is that something? It's an inexpensive way to kind of calm. Also candles. I love to light candles. Is that something you would suggest as well?
All of those things, as long as you can keep those plants alive and make sure that the candles don't burn when you fall asleep. Right. So, but even the science has shown that even faux plants or artificial plants can have the same impact as a real plant. And so there are ways to do it. And then a candle, even in my family's home, I often use the ones that take batteries, just so that they don't burn and cause some sort of fire in the house. And those have the same impact as well. And then I'm very big on establishing, again, rest is so critical, how much you sleep at night. Establish a bedtime routine. You're setting your lights down lower, you're adjusting your temperature. You don't want it too warm or too cold in that room. You do want it a little bit on the cooler side, so that you can sleep through it. I like every night I do light a candle, and I have my decaf green tea, and then I do a little stretching. Stretching helps so much, because it just tells your body, especially when you're stretching your neck and your back, where a lot of us carry that tension, and just get rid of it before you go to bed. And I've got my fighting jersey on here for Halloween, but I'm not ready to fight. I am not ready to fight, because I've already done my calming for today.
All right, Shay, some great advice today. Where can our audience find you?
I can be found at Shay Holland Official and across most social media.
All right, awesome. I feel more calm already. Thank you so much. All right. Next, we go to Intuitive Reader 333 Ask Carrie. She's using her power deck to predict the Falcons versus Patriots game this week. Carrie, happy Halloween. What do you got for us?
Bring in Deb and Troop so we can get our NFL.
Let's see what the Power Deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
.333 Ask Carrie here, ready to give you Week 9 predictions for the Atlanta Falcons versus New England Patriots using my power deck. So let's get into it. There's going to be a lot of astrological transits, but the one that I feel needs to be highlighted is going to be the next week's full moon that's happening next Wednesday. That's right. Full moon in Taurus. Now, Taurus is a fixed sign. It means they just don't like change. And, but the full moon's going to require it, because at the full moon time, it's all about releasing and shedding old patterns that no longer work for us, that have been blocking our success, that have been, hurting us, sometimes mentally, physically, or emotionally. And we need to like totally release all of that. So there's a fresh start for those fixed signs, being Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, and also Leo. And specifically for Taurus, who happens to be, of course, the Falcons quarterback, Pennis. Pennis is a Taurian. He actually has a lot going into this game kind of against him, because the energy that's been leading up to this particular game, the teams hasn't been performing. So there's a lot at stake in this game. Let's see if they're going to be able to pull it off, though, because the Patriots happens to be a team where it is a team of all mutable signs. Mutable meaning changeable, very flexible, very airy and free. They are really good at being outside the box thinkers too. So that's why they sometimes come up with these like very dynamic plays. But the defense has been very helpful. Last week they had a great game. They're coming off of a win. So let's see what they're going to do this week. This week that I have for the Patriots, I have the Ace of Diamonds, which means that they're going to be having, another great new start or fresh beginning in career professionally. And then also the Eight of Pentacles, which is very earth energy, but mostly a feeling of grounding and that it's going to be a money-making opportunity. And then they have the Eight of Hearts because they have their huge fan base with them behind their back. Now, double eights, guys, means that there is infinite potential. So this is a particular season where the Patriots are actually showing up and able to make some key plays and game wins. Now for the Falcons, not so pretty, unfortunately, all black cards, but we have the Six of Pentacles, which means that they are going to have a repeat of probably last game. And then the King of Pentacles, which is actually a Taurus or Earth sign represented male, which would be Pennis. And then the Nine of Spades, meaning a closure, not being able to get the win. So who do I select? Well, I feel the Patriots are going to win out. Falcons 17 and Patriots 31. Good luck, guys, and have a happy Halloween. Back to you, Deb.
Thanks so much, Carrie. All right, guys, Ben Troop, former tight end for the Buccaneers and the Titans, is here to help me with Week 9 game picks. Here we go.
Bring in Deb and Troop so we can get our NFL picks.
Hello, Ben.
How you doing?
I'm good. Olive, my spooky Halloween kitty, wanted to join us today for game picks. She hopped right up. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I mean, being a Falcons fan is a little rough these days. So I don't want to hear about no. I mean, I can respect the readings and everything. We need readings. We need everything for the Falcons. We need everything. Any available good player, we need them.
Yeah, someone put some voodoo on your Falcons this season. I don't know. They're such a talented team, and I just don't know what happened. You know I'm a Falcon fan. All right, let's get to these Week 9 games. We got the 49ers, who are 5-3, versus the Giants, who are 2-6, Sunday at 1 p.m. at MetLife. Who you got and why?
I mean, obviously, I got the 49ers. I think Mac Jones is doing a great job filling in for Brock Purdy. I feel awful for Cam Scatterboo. I mean, I still can't get that image out of my head. But I do think this pass rush for the Giants is going to come to play. I mean, you talk about Brian Burns, you talk about Kayvon Thibodeau, you talk about Dexter Lawrence, you talk about Abdul Carter, but not enough offense to support, what they're trying to do with the Giants. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. Even though I love what Jackson Dart is doing, I think he's been a great spark since but I can't go against the 49ers right now. C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey, he's everything for that team. I mean,
he's literally carrying the offense.
Yeah. He's the man. I'm going to go to 49ers.
And I'm going to agree with you here. I mean, we're dealing with two extremely beat-up teams, unfortunately. Right now, the 49ers lead the overall series 22-21. Last matchup was September 21st, 2023. 49ers defeated the Giants 30-12. I feel like the score is going to reflect around that same score. Obviously awful to see Cam Scottaboo. That was, I can't get it out of my head either. Jackson Dart's reaction to it still haunts me.
Yeah.
But that was the connection of the season, and that's what sparked it. And I think it's really, the Giants are going to hurt without them, and also with no neighbors either. I mean, they don't.
Oh, yeah, man. Damn,
it's just like, yeah, just a double shot there.
Yeah.
Kittle's back. CMC is on fire. San Francisco is just so physical. I feel like the 49ers should be embarrassed by the loss to Houston last week. They should not have lost that game. I feel like they will bounce back. They're favored by 3.5. I'm going San Francisco as well. Let's go on to the Colts, 7-1. Who would have thought? Versus the Steelers, 4-3, Sunday at 1 p.m. in Pittsburgh. Who you got and why?
Man, who would have ever thought Daniel Indiana Jones would have this type of resurgence when he chose to, come over to the Colts? But I'm going to go with the Colts for one reason and one reason only. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's looking like he's doing his best Saquon Barkley impression in 2025. And you look at what they want to do on offense. I mean, you talk about Downs, you talk about you talk about Warren, you talk about Pittman. But Jonathan Taylor is the X factor. I know that Aaron Rodgers is always going to keep you in the game if you are Pittsburgh, but DK Metcalf, he's had good games. It's been DK Metcalf and a bunch of tight ends, Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith, Pat Frymuth. But what's disappointing about Pittsburgh is the secondary. You talk about Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, their defense is awful.
And sometimes you forget that those guys are over there. For that reason alone, even though it's on the road, I'm going to go with Daniel Jones. And love what Irsay's daughter is doing. She's on the sideline.
Yep.
She's trying to figure things out.
Todd called her mommy, the Colts mommy, the other day.
Whatever she's doing is working. Give me them boys from Indy.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Pittsburgh does lead the all series 21-8. The last matchup was September 29th, 2024. The Colts won that one 27-24. The teams have met 5 times in the postseason. The Steelers have won every game of that one. They're not winning this one. Let's be honest. Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, they're on fire. They're the most explosive team in the NFL right now. Their Super Bowl talks, MVP talks. Colts are going to make a deep playoff run. Like, let's be honest. And like you said, the Steelers defense is just struggling. I actually saw in media they called them the leaky faucet. That's what they call it.
That's that. I mean, with TJ Watt, with Cameron Hayward, they got that. That's too much firepower on a lot of big names, but the game ain't really translating right now.
Yeah. I don't see the Steelers winning this. I'm so sorry, Frank Nicotero. Love you, but they're not winning. The Colts are 3-point favors on this one. I'm going Colts. All right, let's go Broncos versus Texans Sunday at 1 p.m. What do you got and why?
I think this is going to be one of the games of the week. I mean, you talk about Houston getting a big bounce back win against those San Francisco 49ers. CJ Stroud and company was able to go out there and get it done. But I like Bo Nix. I like Bo. I like Cortland Sutton. I like Dobbins and company, and Mercedes Lewis. Born in 1984. I think it's like year 29 for him. Just signed with the Denver Broncos practice squad. He's probably going to be on the active roster. When Mercedes Lewis came out of UCLA, I wonder what he drives. His name is Mercedes. Does he drive?
He has to drive a Mercedes, right? If my name was Mercedes.
What else do you drive, right?
I have a BMW, but my name's Deb. So, but no, in Spanish class, my Spanish name was Mercedes, so I have no.
Okay, well, look, I'm just saying, I am going to go with the Broncos. I do think Houston is a team that's trying to keep pace with the Colts right now. But no one wants to talk about how well Bo Nix has played his rookie year and his second year. I mean, he's been good, not great, but he could definitely keep you in the game. I'm going to go with the Broncos, even though I think Houston going to make a game out of it.
I think it's going to be a great game too. I love both of these teams. I feel like the Texans are just starting to get it together. I feel like I've been confused last season and the beginning of this season as to why they're underperforming. I really do like CJ Stroud a lot, and we've seen him do some great things. But I think the Broncos are just a little bit more of a balanced team. The last time these two teams played, December 3rd, 2023, the Texans won 22-17. With CJ Stroud. But I had a great stat for this. Did you know it's a tale of two stadiums? Since the Texans joined the NFL in 2002, both teams have maintained a streak of selling out every home game. I saw that stat and I was like, that's Crazy. Anyway, the Broncos are favored by 1.5. I'm going to go with the Broncos as well. And all right, one more. Let's do Chiefs, who are 5-3 versus the Bills, 5-2. This is going to be the game of the week. I've been wanting to talk about this the entire week. Sunday, 4:25 p.m. Who you got and why?
You never listen. I would never ever go against Josh Allen. I mean, he's not the type of guy you would go against. But the problem is, he's going against Patrick Mahomes. I would say this.
But you also don't go.
Everybody kind of wrote Kansas City off because they wasn't having the start of the season, lose first game of the year against the Chargers over there in Brazil. Wasn't really having, but they've woken up.
They have.
They get Rashae Rice back. You're talking about Xavier Worthy. You're talking about Hollywood Brown. You're talking about Pacheco. But you got the straw, that stirs the drink, and Patrick Mahomes. I like Buffalo because they got, Cook. I mean, because they got Cooks, because they got Josh Allen. The problem is that's all they got. I mean, they don't have a number one receiver anymore. I mean, I like Keon Coleman, but most games you forget he's out there. I like the battle of superpowers, though. I like superpower Buffalo. I like superpower Kansas City. And every time Josh Allen does something, they say, "Oh man, you're pretty good." But not as good as that Mahomes guy, right? So when they come together, it's going to be fireworks. I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs because I just think that they're starting. You talk about Houston starting to find their groove. Kansas City telling everybody, y'all know we a good team, right? Y'all wrote us off like we weren't going back to the playoffs, right? Gonna be fireworks. Josh Allen can make it happen. James Cooks, I mean, he's one of the best, running backs in the league. But I'm gonna go with those guys from Kansas City. I just think they playing a little bit better football.
I agree with you. I think we just agreed on all of the games this time. I think having Rashae Rice back has made a huge difference in the Kansas City's playing style, and they're heating up at the right time, which is what Kansas City does. Let's be honest, right? We all you're right. We wrote them off. We should never write off Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the squad. Also love my South Jersey boy Pacheco. He's killing it too. You hear his name everywhere. As far as Allen and Mahomes is concerned, the two have met 9 times since 2020. Mahomes winning more in the playoffs and Allen holding the edge in the regular season. So this should be just such an interesting game. I feel like we could just flip a coin and wherever it lands, it lands. And everyone's like, oh, the Bills blew out the Panthers last week. Yeah, they should have blown out the Panthers last week. Like, if they didn't, we should have been scared. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Chiefs are favored by 2.5, and I'm going Chiefs defeating Buffalo at home. So, all right, Ben. Thank you so much for being on. Everyone, guys, tune in next because Ben's show is coming on in like 3 minutes. No weddings in the fall, so please stay tuned. Today's show is sponsored by Wish LBI and Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code BLONDE, and we'll double your deposit up to $100. If you like tonight's show, please subscribe. Please, please, please. And you can follow us on all socials at The Blonde Blitz. All right, guys, football forever. Love ya. See you next week. And go Birds, even though there's a bye. See ya.